Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do something a little bit different for me. I wanted to kind of kick off this month with just some like funny stories when it comes to the subject of dating. I just want to say I have had probably the worst like quote unquote love life you could ever have ever. I feel like I've experienced just like every sort of good situation, every sort of bad situation. Guys who were not at all gentlemanly to me. The first story I'm gonna start off with is, we will call him Tim. I had known of Tim for a while. He was kind of like categorized as like a really good looking guy, and that's all I really knew about him. I didn't know what kind of person he was. I soon found out. If I had to compare him to like a celebrity, let's just say he looked very similar to like Ryan Gosling. He didn't have maybe Ryan Gosling's like physique, but he had Ryan Gosling's like just like handsome face and like charm to him. Just like that like cheeky little smile, and just really handsome. Just really. I was actually like newly single. I had dated a guy previously for about 3 or 4 years, and it was a long relationship. I had only been single probably for like 3 months. It wasn't anything crazy. But anyways, I met this guy at a bonfire, and we had like a good little chat, and he gave my friend his number and told her to give his number to me. It was a little weird. Like, it's like he didn't have like the forthright guts to show interest in me, so he gave my friend his number and then told her to give me his number. It was weird. Like, it was just like he wanted me to have his number, but he didn't want me to know that he was like super interested. From that, we started texting, and from there we like started talking on the phone, and like everything was really good. Like, there was like a nice little flow to it, but it wasn't like, you know, the like best conversations I've ever had. But like, we got to talk, and we talked about a lot of things, and we talked for we got to a point where we would talk every day. And I want to say like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, at that point he had known where I worked, and I worked second shift at a hotel, and he really wanted to come and see me, and he brought dinner. It was just like Chick-fil-A. He had bought Chick-fil-A for the two of us to eat at my job on my break, and it was really nice. And I was like, oh, like, I think he kind of likes me. Like, you know, we talk every day. He bought me dinner, brought it to my job on my break. Me and him had dinner together in the hotel, and it was just like really nice. So I say all this to show like there definitely was like this interest, at least in my mind. We talk every day. He brought me dinner. We went on a date to a movie with a few people, and we kissed goodbye. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, he definitely likes me. I thought he was just like so cute, and I just was like, la la la. Who cares if like the conversation isn't like amazing? This was like my first guy after like having been through a really tough relationship for years and years and years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm back out dating, and like it's going well, and this is great. I've met someone awesome and cool. So after all of that, he texts me like that he wants me to meet him and his friend who is in town at a restaurant. And he was like, yeah, my friend's in town. He's not in town very often, and I would really just love for you to meet him. Like, he was like my best friend growing up, and we just had like so many stories, and like I really, really want you to meet him. And so like I'm at home thinking like, okay, like he wants me to meet his friend, you know, cool. Like, his childhood friend, like, so pretty much like his brother growing up. Like, so I was like, okay, yeah. He was like, yeah, cool. So we're gonna meet Friday night at like, I think it was like 6 at this Mexican restaurant. And he knew full and well at this point that I didn't get off of work during the day shift. I didn't get off of work till 6. So I wouldn't have been able to get there like right away, but I would have been there like relatively soon. And I was like, okay, cool. Where do you want me to meet you guys? Where's this restaurant? And the restaurant was like an hour and a half away from where I worked. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. He didn't want to change like the time to a later time. He's like, yeah, well, we'll be here. And you know, like, if you can make it, that'd be awesome. And he's like, yeah, it just would be really, really nice if like you could get off early because I really want you to meet him. And he was not willing to like change the time to like maybe an hour later, just like even an hour later, like at 7 or something. No, he was like, no, Friday at 6, be there or be square. And I was like, okay. Well, the day arrives and it ends up being super, super slammed. So I already knew, you know what, I'm probably not gonna get off till late. I sent him a text. I was like, I'm not gonna get off till 6, the time I'm supposed to get off, and I'll head over there as soon as I can. And he was just kind of like, okay. So I did get off at 6. I immediately like changed my clothes at work, hopped in the car, and like I was zooming down the road during rush hour too, on a Friday. But I got there an hour and a half later. And I show up and him and his friend are at a booth and they've already like eaten and everything. I have not eaten dinner. I'm starving. Like, I am excited to meet his friend, but I did feel a bit like a third wheel. It's just him and his friend and then me. And they were just like talking the whole time about like his friend and his friend's life. And like, I wasn't even there. And I kind of felt like, you know what? I did kind of come a little bit later. Maybe I'll just like order something to eat since they've already eaten. I was like, I'm gonna order something to eat because I'm like super hungry, so I hope that's okay, blah, blah, blah. And he was like,
you haven't eaten?
And I'm like,
No, I haven't eaten.
and I literally told you I was working till 6 and then I was having to drive all the way over here. You made it very, very clear that you wanted me to meet your friend, so he made it sound like I should have like picked something up and eaten in the car before I got to the restaurant. And it's like, dude, it's 7:30. I'm hungry. Haven't eaten anything. I rushed, busted my butt to get here to meet your friend who's not even talking to me. Neither one of you guys are really even talking to me. I'm hungry, so if you guys are gonna talk,
I would like something to eat.
They were about to close the kitchen for like dinner entrees and it was just gonna be like the bar was open and that's it. And I asked the waiter and the waiter's like, yeah, we're closing the kitchen in like 10 minutes. And basically kind of looked at me like, please don't order anything. But I was so hungry. I was so hungry. And I was like, could I just get like 2 tacos? Like just like chicken tacos, nothing crazy. Something really small, like inexpensive. So they put in my order and then like quickly come out with my food. And I'm just like, you know, once again, just like sitting there in silence. I tried to kind of contribute into the conversation, but it really just seemed like the two of them. And I know he wasn't like purposely trying to ignore me. It's just like he hadn't seen his friend in a while. So I was like respectful of that, you know what I mean? So I finally get my tacos and I'm like so hungry. I like literally like eat them and you know, at least I have something on my stomach. There was a movie theater right by this place and they were like, oh my gosh, we should go see a movie. And I was like, yeah, a movie sounds good. You know, the night's still young. And he was like,
oh, but don't you have to work tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I have to work tomorrow morning, but like I drove all the way out here and I didn't even really get to like eat with you guys. And like, I haven't gotten to know, you know, your friend that much.
Oh, well, I didn't know if you would want to come to the movies with us because you have to work.
Oh, well, if you guys just like want to have like your own guy time and like catch up, I understand, like you guys can go to the movies. But in my head I'm like, I just drove here an hour and a half, busted my butt to get to you. You got mad because I wanted to order some food because I was starving, and he seems kind of a little annoyed that I was late in the first place, even though I told him I probably would be because of my job. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he don't even want me to come to the movies. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, if you guys want to go to the movies, just like the two of you, I understand. Like, that's fine. And so the waiter comes around. He's so who's on whose check? And like dead radio silence. And I think his friend was like looking at the two of us like, oh, like, is he gonna pay for her meal? And listen, I'm a hard worker. I can pay for my own food. I have no problems with that. But last time I checked, me and you are kind of dating. I drove an hour and a half to come here and meet your friend. You guys haven't said 2 words to me. I just thought maybe, you know, he would try to impress his friend a little bit. And like, it's not the first time he's bought me dinner. So I'm just kind of like, and I ordered 2 tacos, like so cheap, like 2 tacos. Like, I don't even think the total came out to like $7, the whole thing. I was like, I got mine. I'm on a tab by myself. And I made it like very clear and very like abrupt, and like I didn't care. And so we all paid, and then I was like, it was so nice to meet you, Bert. So good to see you. You guys have fun. And he's like, yeah, I'll call you later. Da, 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 da. And that was horrible. I liked this guy so much, and this was my first experience with a guy that I had just first started dating who like literally like didn't pay, like wouldn't pay. And I was just like, what? So needless to say, we didn't end up together, but I did date him for like 2 more months after that, and a lot of other like weird just like feelings happened, and I just felt like just all the warning signs, and like we knew by the end of it, like we just weren't compatible. Like, I'm not saying a guy has to pay every time, but when you're first trying to impress a girl that you are dating and you invited out on a date, you should pay. And you would not believe since then, because this was like 5 years ago, you would not believe since then how many times that has happened to me, where a guy doesn't even pay for my meal. And I don't know if it's just like I'm so nice, or I give this independent vibe, or if guys just aren't into me. I know it's not like a super dramatic story. I have some of those are coming. So I hope you guys like this story time. I just recommend that, like, don't go Dutch, you know. As a woman, you know, show that you can pay, but as a man, show that, you know, you're really interested in a girl by paying, at least in the beginning. Especially like, this was our very first, I can't. Hope you guys enjoyed this story. I will be back with more soon, and I'll see you later.